Pizza time.
Our family grows. The city itself will be our playground to use as we please, rewarding ourselves and punishing our enemies.
We've been looking for you, Miss O'Neill.
There is a new enemy, freaks of nature. Together, we will punish these creatures.
What the heck was that?
Looked like sort of a big turtle in a trench coat.
Awesome!
Excellent!
Yeah! I love being a turtle!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first installment of Retro Review, where I kind of take a look at some old films and kind of go into some nice discussion about that. Hope everyone's having an excellent Saturday evening. Hope you're doing well wherever you're out there in the multiverse. I am, of course, your host, as always, RJ, Mr. Resident Justice himself. Hello. So here we are, talking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 1990 film, the original film, which released in March of 1990, which we are going to have some fun with, and we are here to discuss. So I got an opportunity to see the film at the local theater because they had the Flashback Cinema. If you have not heard of this program, go to Flashback Cinema. Go ahead and put that in your Google search and find that, because there are theaters near you that play classic films, and you should go and see them if you can. What's up, Superboy? Hope we're doing well. So yeah, obviously we're here to talk about Turtles, which is a film I've seen many times, but I have not gotten the chance to see it in a movie theater before, and I was very pleased to have the opportunity to do so. So earlier this afternoon, went to go see the movie with my dad. Got to go see it, and it's still good. It's still a good movie. It's still really fun. It's quite entertaining. It's awesome to kind of see it on the big screen. I think it does make kind of a difference. Dolby Atmos or Dolby sound, I don't know what the technical term for it is, but my theater supports Dolby sound, so like the surround sound was really nice, and that was fun. So yeah. So yes, Mr. Choker, Turtle Power, absolutely. So in terms of the film, it was really cool, the presentation that Flashback Cinema used. They had a gentleman kind of introduce the audience to the history of the film and the property. Now, I already kind of knew this. I knew a lot about this stuff. So it wasn't really new to me, but I thought, because there was a lot of kids in the audience, which was kind of neat. Like a lot of kids who probably had never seen the film before, getting to share that experience with their parents. So I thought that was kind of neat. But the gentleman, goes into the history about, the history behind the TMNT Comics, Barrage Studios, and all that fun stuff with Eastman and Laird and all that good stuff, and kind of going into how this movie, at the time, was an independent film. No studio wanted to pick up this film and do it, despite the cartoon being a huge success. So New Line Cinema, who at the time was a big independent studio, picked it up, financed it themselves, and it was a big box office hit in the spring of 1990. So what's up, Anthony, as well? Nice to see you here, too. Let me take a sip of my drink real quick. So, yeah, when it comes to this film, it's pretty good. I mean, some aspects haven't held up the greatest, but, I mean, it's a movie made in 1990 at a time. It's also very low budget. So I mean, but dude, I mean, the animatronics are still amazing to this day. the way that they are able to capture the four turtles, I think, is just excellent. Obviously, the Jim Henson Company taking the reins of that, they do a fantastic job. You can have Kevin Clash, who does the voice, the performance of Splinter, for example. So, yeah, I mean, all around, it's a really solid film. I mean, there's aspects to it that, of course, you know, it's very faithful to the comics, the original Eastman and Laird comics versus the cartoon, which might have turned off younger viewers and maybe some parents at the time because it was a little more dark, has some darker elements, some cursing. It still has the wacky fun stuff too, but it's definitely not a movie that like probably was very safe at the time, you know, which probably explains why parents complained so much and they had to make so many changes for the sequel. What's up, Matt? Hope you're well. So again, it's kind of interesting when we kind of examine that too, kind of look at it a piece of history. I did think it was funny during the flashback cinema presentation for this film. They mentioned that one of the reasons that nobody wanted to pick this up because they're like, hey, you know, comic book movies today are all the rage just before the Marvel and DC universe stuff, right? And the guy talking and introducing the film from flashback scene was like, you know, after the horrible Howard the Duck movie, which bombed and crashed in 1986, nobody wanted to touch TMNT or any comic book stuff. And I'm like, it's kind of funny because in hindsight, I know Howard the Duck has a bit of a cult following. It's not a good movie. It's pretty bad, okay? But it's kind of funny how in hindsight, a lot of people have sort of turned back around on Howard the Duck to where it's not as hated as it used to be. So, but it is important to note, like in the history of things, how bad Howard the Duck screwed things up for the genre. You know, before Batman came in too. So, as a person who saw the movie opening day because it came out on my birthday, trust me when I say no one was upset about the swearing. Well, I know that the swearing probably wasn't the biggest deal, but from what I heard when it came to TMNT 2 Secret of the Ooze was that they didn't let the turtles use their weapons because all the parent groups and parents were complaining that the movie was too violent. I know the violence was what got criticized the most and got so much pushback when the movie came out. But it's not even that bad. Like, it's really not that bad in terms of violence. I don't know why parents were complaining back in 1990, but, you know, is what it is. Mr. Toker says, okay, what obsessed me with the new TMNT movie, like how come practical animatronics aren't being used now? How is the tech not advanced enough to be amazing now? I would think it would cost less. Mostly because I think it's laziness, and I think it's also, too, they don't view animatronics is worth the time and effort when it can all be done by overseas digital artists. Which, listen, this is not to knock CGI. I think CGI is a great tool. You can do some really amazing things with it, especially with motion capture. But sometimes practical effects are where it's at. And I'll be honest with you, even though the animatronics in this movie with the turtles aren't the best, and sometimes they're a little wonky in some parts, I would still prefer that over the Michael Bay CGI fest because they just feel more real. They feel like real, tangible beings. They have more personality, you know? So, I just know classics in my. Listen, I don't hate Howard the Duck. It's a bad movie, but I have fun with that. You know, it's one of those so bad it's good kind of movies where you can just kind of sit back and enjoy it for what it is. Yeah, and I don't think the kids were complaining. It was the parents. The parents and like the media were complaining that the movie was too violent, which is why in TMNT 2 Secret of the Ooze, they don't use their weapons. They use like yo-yos and toys and like their fists, but they never use their katanas or their nunchucks or any of that stuff, you know? Which it's kind of lame. I mean, TMNT 2 is an alright sequel, but them not using their weapons is still stupid to me. It's just really, really stupid. Oh, yeah, they use sausages too. God, I haven't watched TMNT 2 in forever. It should have been Bebop and Rocksteady, by the way, not Toga and Razar. Why they made those two the villains instead of freaking Bebop and Rocksteady, I will never understand. But whatever. Whatever. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, funny thing too about the cast is like the cast is like mostly unknowns. I mean, you have Judith Hogue, who I actually saw first in Halloween Town, those Disney Channel original movies. That's where I knew Judith Hogue from before I watched TMNT. And the guy playing Casey Jones, like I have no clue where he is or what else he's done, but he's like really only known for this movie as far as I'm concerned. I mean, maybe I'm just being ignorant right now, but I've never heard of the guy who played Casey Jones working anywhere else. I mean, and he's a good Casey Jones. He's a good Casey Jones. It's like, who is this guy? Where'd he come from? I don't even remember his name. But yeah, the turtle voices are kind of funny too. You have Corey Feldman as Donatello, which is so random. Like, why is Corey Feldman Donatello? I mean, he's good in the movie, don't get me wrong. Just like, really? We got Corey Feldman to play Donatello? You know? I guess it's just one of those quirky things from that period, you know? So, yeah, I mean, I don't really got much else to say about this. I mean, again, it's a good movie. It's fun. It's held up uh, pretty well outside of the I don't like the Danny Elias Cotes. I'll look him up. Hold on. Elias Cotes, Canadian actor. Okay, he's in Chicago PD, The Prophecy, Crash. Oh, he's in Shutter Island. Oh, he left Chicago PD. Okay, let's see. Let's look up IMDb. Yeah, he was in the Chicago franchise, like the TV franchise. Some Kind of Wonderful, The Adjuster, The Prophecy, Crash, Living Out Loud, Fallen, The Thin Red Line, Collateral Damage, Shooter. Oh, he's in Zodiac, Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Shutter Island, and he was in the TMNT movies. Okay. I think he's mostly become like a TV actor now, which is totally fine. I mean, being a TV actor, that's a legit business as well. Don't get me wrong. So, yeah. That Mark Wahlberg shooter movie, it's on TV all the time. So I've caught like glimpses of it, like the ending where like freaking Danny Glover and someone else get like shot up by Mark Wahlberg. So the bad guys who try to screw him over as politicians or whatever. But I've not like actually seen the movie like all the way through per se. So, but yeah, I mean, the only aspect of the movie that I feel like weighs it down is I don't like the daddy subplot with the stupid kid. Like, you know, the kid rebelling against his dad and wanting to find a place to belong, and Splinter's the one who convinces him. I mean, it ties into the themes of the movie about the father and son relationship between Splinter and the Turtles, which is very sweet, and it adds an emotional core to the film. But the Danny kid and that whole thing is just like, whatever. I mean, they have to have a kid in the movie, I guess. So I guess it works out. But oh, also fun fact: Did you know that Sam Rockwell's in this movie? I think TMNT is one of Sam Rockwell's first movies. He plays one of the kids from the Foot Clan hideout, like one of the Foot Clan kids. I think it's one of his first movies. Like I could be wrong, but I swear I thought that it's one of his first movies. Yeah, Sam Rockwell, he's credited as head thug and unmasked gang member. Yeah, like I'm pretty sure. Let me look at Sam Rockwell's filmography real quick. Hold up, let me look. It's got to be. Yeah, this is his second movie. This is Sam Rockwell's second movie. His first role was in the movie Clown House, but TMNT was his first big movie. That's really funny that you can kind of look at the trajectory of Sam Rockwell's career, and he's like in the movie as like the head thug of the Foot Clan. So It's kind of interesting. So yeah, we got Judith Ho, we got Jay Patterson. What was James Sato, who plays Shredder? Yeah, he's been in a bunch of stuff. Looks like he was in Pearl Harbor. He was in Die Hard with a Vengeance, Home Alone 3. He was okay. His scenes were deleted, but he's in deleted scenes of The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension. That's kind of funny. So yeah, just kind of some fun little trivia facts there when it comes to the film. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say. Like I said, it's a good movie. I think it's aged pretty decently. I mean, it's Ninja Turtles, man. I mean, I think part of it too is you kind of had to be there when that movie came out because that was like peak Turtles fever. Obviously, I was quite a few years off from that, but again, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. It's a fun movie. Catch it in theaters if Flashback Cinema is screening it. I think they're showing it again tomorrow and Wednesday. So if you want to see it, look up Flashback Cinema. If you want to see it on the big screen, look it up on Flashback Cinema. Find a theater near you that works with them, and go see it. I mean, again, it's really cool getting to see these movies on the big screen. It's a very awesome experience, and I'm glad I got to partake in that. So yeah, it's pretty much all I got, guys. Okay, yeah. If you want to come in, Matt, absolutely, yeah, for sure. I will stall for time, but uh, yeah. So some quick housekeeping things while I wait for Matt to pop on. Tomorrow, we're launching a brand new show for the channel. If you saw my community post, I already announced what the title is, and on Twitter. But in case you missed it, I will pull it up here. We are launching tomorrow Matinee Madness, a movie talk show, which that will be tomorrow. We'll be talking about the situation with Marvel Studios and the stuff going on with Bob Iger's comments about things. But yeah, this is the new premiere show for the channel. This will be all about movie talk and TV talk, entertainment talk. Also working on getting a video game show together. Have not decided how I'm going to approach that or what it's going to be called or what we're going to do with it, but I know I want to do a video game show because I think it'd be a lot of fun. Might get some people on there who I've been looking to collaborate with for a minute, so that should be good. And the plan is I just got back from seeing Scream 6, so I will be recording a Scream 6 spoiler review. I'll have a special guest on me to talk about that film. That will be a video for the channel. It will not be a live stream. It will be a video. So be on the lookout for that. Hopefully, I'll be recording that tonight, and then tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon it should go up. We'll see. So, yeah. Turtles. Hold on, let me get a drink of my thing. It was kind of funny seeing the movie earlier this afternoon because they played like a lot of trailers. Like I think they played. I got to see the Flash trailer today, and there was also the. What other trailers were there? I can't even remember. I know we got the Flash trailer. I think we also got the Mario trailer and something else, but I don't remember what. Scream 6 was weird because you'd figure we would have gotten like some trailers about horror movies, but no, we only got trailers for The Flash, John Wick 4, TMNT. We got Guardians, Flash, and Mario. This is 3 trailers. For Scream 6, we got trailers for The Flash, John Wick Chapter 4. Yeah, no, for The Flash. No joke, there was not a single horror movie trailer in front of Scream. The trailers they played were in order, because I remember, because it was just a couple hours ago, they played The Flash trailer, John Wick Chapter 4, The Flash, John Wick Chapter 4, the Renfield trailer, that Nicholas Hoult, Nicolas Cage Dracula movie, and they played the trailer for Dungeons and Dragons. So not a single horror movie, because Renfield is a comedy. I mean, I guess Renfield's kind of a scary movie. I mean, not really. It's not a horror movie. I mean, it's Dracula, but it's like more like action comedy thriller. So you got a Scream trailer in front of Puss in Boots? That is weird. Like, that's abnormal. That's very abnormal. I don't know why they would do that. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I don't know about that. Like, the kids in there were probably trauma. You know what was so funny, though? You know what's so funny? When I left TMNT, a little girl and her mom were walking into Scream 6, and the little girl was dressed up as Ghostface. And then when I went to go see Scream 6 tonight, a few hours ago, there was a freaking, there were kids. There's like 2 or 3 kids, and like one of the kids looked like they were like 5 years old. Like, all these kids were at least under 10. I'm like, huh? Are little kids watching Scream? Like, listen, I'm not one to judge parenting, okay? I'm not a parent. But like, at what point do we be like, listen, little Jimmy or Janet, you're 8 years old. I'm not taking you Saturday night to go see an R-rated slasher movie where people are like getting their heads caved in with knives. Like, what are we doing? Yeah, I'll send a link, Matt. Hold up. That just took me off guard. Again, I'm not one to judge parenting, but like, what are we doing here, folks? What are we doing? It just gives, like, I didn't see my first R-rated movie until I was like 12, 13. Let me be for real. I've seen R-rated movies at home. Like, at home is different. Going to the theater, that to me is like a sacred thing, man. That's like a rite of passage. So, hey, what's up, Matt?
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. What's up? Oh. He was here and then he vanished. Like a ninja. Dun, dun, dun. Where was I with my thought, though? Oh, yeah, I didn't see my first R-rated movie until I was, like, 12, and it was Kick-Ass. So, I don't know. All right, now you're back.
Sorry about that. It's using StreamYard mobilely. Bit of a pain.
No, I get you, man. Yeah, but no, yeah, I got to see TMNT, the original movie, in theaters today. So that was fun.
Nice. Yeah, the very first time I saw that was opening. It was opening day back when it came out in 1990. Because it came out, I think, like right before my birthday.
Yeah,
like
it came out March in 1990.
Yeah, so I saw it. That was my birthday party with like my friends. That was what I wanted to go see. I wanted nothing else. but to go see Turtles. And I distinctly remember this. I distinctly remember the movie ends, and I'm like on cloud 9 because I thought it was like the greatest thing ever. And I'm walking out of the theater, and I look up and I look into the projection room, and I see a guy, the projectionist, who looks identical to Casey Jones. So, like, in my 8-year-old brain, I'm just like, holy crap, Casey Jones was working the theater, you know? And it was just like, I still remember that. But like the movie, man, like, my God, that movie was a phenomenon. Like, because
Well, it was back to back, right? Because the summer of '89 was Batman Fever, and then right after it's Turtles. So
yeah. I mean, I remember Batman Fever to an extent, right? Like I remember going to see it and having a good time with it and everything else. But like Ninja Turtles, though, was different. Like this was different. Like Batman, you had a long story history with everything, and you had the Adam West show, which is still GOAT tier in my opinion. But yeah, Turtles though, because like you got to remember, you had the cartoon. And that at that point in time had been on for about 3 years. And there was just a lot of love. A lot of kids my age, we were just like, this was the movie for us. This is what we wanted to see. And, it was totally different than the show. But like the show decapitated people. The show, the Foot Clan.
Right, but they were robots. They weren't real.
Yeah, that was.
That's how they got away with that.
That was the weirdest disconnect. You have to understand, that was the biggest disconnect between the movie and the cartoon, right? Because like you're watching the movie and you're like, oh, it's the Foot Clan. Why the fuck aren't they robots?
Yeah, they're like teenagers that like the Shredder recruited because he gave them cigars and arcade games and a skate rink in the middle of nowhere.
Which by the way, totally tracks.
Yeah,
it totally tracks. If you wanted to like get hood teenagers on your side, give them cigarettes and booze.
Yeah,
like.
Well, the other funny thing too about the movie too, which kind of because it's more based off the comic, right? It's more because I think the people who made it are like really into the comics, the original '86 comic. So
yeah, well, they wanted to make it more like the comic, and obviously, I think whatever studio wanted to probably have to be more like the cartoon, but
so they found a middle ground, which was nice, right? They kind of found a happy medium.
I think they did. I know, like a lot of people, like there's apparently like a subplot with Leonardo that was cut out. There's like a couple things like I'm not the biggest Red Letter Media fan, but recently they did a review of that movie, and they had on a guy who had like worked on the comics or something, or who had like solid knowledge of everything.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. They've had that guy before. I think he works in the comic book industry. He's a huge Turtles fan.
Oh, okay. I thought that was actually a really good video. I did watch that. I was I enjoyed it quite a bit. But yeah, and the thing with Turtles though, like from just what I remember back in the day, is like this was like the phenomenon. Like nobody thought it was bad. You know what I mean? Like I heard you talking about like Howard the Duck, and same concept. Howard the Duck, no kid thought it was bad.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Well, because with Flashback Cinema, they have a gentleman who's sitting in a theater. He introduces the film, but he introduces the history behind it. So for about 5 minutes, he talked about the origins of the comic book. They talked about the cartoon, and they kind of mentioned that Turtles at the time was the largest independent film ever made, because it wasn't made by a big studio, because no big studio wanted to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Part of it was because of they thought it wouldn't work because of budgetary reasons and like trying to like get Turtles made in live action, but also too he mentioned directly that the failure of Howard the Duck scared some of the studios off from trying to adapt comic books at the time. So you had Batman, who was a big character because, well, it's Batman. He's been on TV before. But Turtles, it's like a ground-up property. It's like brand new. It's not something that's like had like a legacy.
Well, see, here's the thing with that, though, is I would argue that Superman Quest for Peace would have done more to damage comic book adaptations rather than, effing Howard the Duck. Because the thing was, like, you got to remember, like, Superman Quest for Peace came out in 89? or like
No,
'87.
it could have been 89. Hold on, let me look it up real quick.
It might have been '87. My years might be off, but it was definitely the '80s.
87.
You know,
87.
it's '87, right? I mean, this was before Batman. This is before Turtles. So the thing you got to remember though is like Quest for Peace. You know, Superman was like, is a big name, obviously, and that movie was so poorly received. And also keep in mind, you also had the Masters of the Universe came out around that same time.
Which Canon put all their money into that movie instead.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I'll tell you this though. I mean, I do not care for Quest for Peace. I mean, I don't hate the movie or nothing, but it's not like the greatest thing ever. But I do love Masters of the Universe. Like that movie never was bad to me. But then again, you have to understand, like, this is the thing that I think a lot of younger generation kids don't, and this is not like a dig at anyone, but it's like there was a time when, you go to the video store and the box art is what gets you to check out the movie, So it's like having a solid box art and interesting looking cover is like a poster or whatever is like enough to get you in the door. Now you got to spoil massive twists of a movie with massive cameos in the goddamn marketing.
Which I heard that happened for a recent superhero movie, but I have no clue what it is.
So, are you serious? Are you legit, or are you just playing coy?
I'm being legit. People have been saying that something got spoiled for Shazam 2. I have no clue what it is.
Oh, I know exactly what it is because I've seen it. It's actually don't look at Emergency Awesome. It's literally his thumbnail.
Okay, how bad is like the spoiler?
You already know it. We've already talked about it.
I've heard rumors of like something. I think I know what it is, but I don't know the context of like I didn't watch anything.
I don't know the context because I haven't seen the trailer. I just don't plan on it. But I saw the screenshot floating around. Because that's
why
just what
spoil
happens.
That in your marketing, man? I don't understand that.
Because that they need that push. They don't have any money for marketing, so they got to push it that way. It's just it's terrible.
Yeah. Well, I was going to mention too, because you grew up with the cartoon. Was it jarring when they did the origin story for the Turtles and Splinter was just a normal rat and not the Japanese master who got mutated?
Yes.
That was a big leap of logic for some people. I feel like a rat learned all the moves from the master by copying them as he did it. It's kind of silly.
No, that was like you're watching the movie and you go like, and you're waiting for like, okay, well, the ooze turned Splinter into a rat. Okay, that's the origin for the show. Okay, here, he's just a rat and he's just learning martial arts. Like, yeah, all right, that's cool. Like, it's jarring, but you also, you don't care.
Well, that's more like the comics too. I think at least I have to go back and look. Personally, I think it's one of the changes that the cartoon made for the better.
Oh, both of these? Okay, thank you. Sorry, I'm picking different order, but
no, you're fine.
All right. Sorry, can you ask that question?
No, I was just saying, like, personally, I feel like the cartoon, when it handles Splinter's origin, is better. Because I think if he's actually the Japanese master who turned into a rat, it makes the connection to Shredder better. Because it's like, he ruined Splinter's life and turned him into this. And, like, he tried stealing his woman, too, and killed his woman.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it's way more tragic the other way. But it's like, at the same time, you're just like, okay, so the rat learned how to do martial arts
because he practiced them in the cage as his master learned things, which is like, okay.
I mean, well, like animals will parrot their masters, I guess, and then but he wants revenge because Shredder killed his master, and then he
killed his master's wife, and he sliced off his ear.
Yeah. I mean, you know what?
And that's the funny part of the movie where Splinter's like, and he took one slash at me, and he took my ear.
Exactly.
His face, though.
Yeah. You have to just laugh at all that. Personally,
I mean, but dude, like the last 20 minutes or like the last 10 minutes of the movie where it's all the turtles fighting the Foot Clan, his brothers finally united, because the whole movie builds up like Raphael isn't down. He wants to do things solo. And it's kind of like I feel like the movie's very Raphael focused. I don't know
It
if you'd
is.
agree with that.
Oh no!
but-
Well, here's the thing though. So, growing up, Raphael was my favorite turtle, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I even had a turtle. I got a little box turtle, and then I named him Raphael. Like, that's the kind of nerd kid I was back then. And, like, so yeah. So going to see the Turtles movie and having it be Raph focused, like, I thought was great, because I also feel even now, like all the 30 years later, that the focusing on Raphael in general is just a better idea, because he's got the most complex story to tell.
Because
like, having-
he's like the one who's conflicted all the time about like what he wants to be and how he wants to approach things, kind of that whole. I mean, it's
Yeah.
interesting for sure. Yeah.
Well, it's like you think about it, you go, okay, Mikey just wants pizza and he just wants to skateboard. Like, that's it. Like Donatello's the smart one and he'll do the smart stuff. Leonardo wants to lead. But having the conflict between Leonardo, who is too brash in his leadership, and too controlling in his leadership, and not understanding that Raph needs something a little bit different, it definitely is like why I think they have that great dynamic.
Well, dude, I don't know if you've seen the 2007 animated movie, but again, one of the highlights of that film is Leonardo clashing with Raphael.
Wait, do you really think I didn't see the 2007 movie?
Well, I don't know. I would assume you did.
Yes, I did. We had it at the drive-in. I saw it opening night.
Okay, but like that fight in the rain, man. The fight in the rain.
I'll put it to you like this. I'll give you the best example I can. So I'm watching the movie at the drive-in. I'm hanging out with my buddy at his truck. I'm watching this movie, and I literally at one point, I cross my arms on his truck, and I lay my head down, and I just like on its side, and I just start watching the movie. Like I'm a fucking 5-year-old kid, dude. Like, I go back to being a kid. Just watch. It's like, it's not the greatest animated movie ever. It's really not. But I think it did a good job in capturing the spirit of the original. And yes, when Leo and Raph fought on that rooftop, dude, I got goosebumps. Like, hands down, I got goosebumps. I thought it was amazing.
It's the best part of the movie, easily. It's the best part.
I mean, well, yes. I mean, the best, like, thematic part of the movie, but my favorite part was when Raph was in the super suit fighting that little red monster in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Because I like the song that it plays. I thought that was great. So.
Yeah. How did you feel though about like the final confrontation with Shredder in this movie though? Do you feel like it was just long enough, or do you wish there was more? Because the biggest complaint against this movie is that the fight with Shredder is too short. You don't get enough time with him and the Turtles one-on-one, and that Shredder kind of goes out like a whip.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, they drop him into, they drop him off the rooftop and he falls into a trash compactor.
And then Casey just turns on and crushes him, kills him. Like, what?
I know, but whoopsie daisy. Did I do that? I mean, total, yeah. Like, it's just, I think, like, I think that it could have been longer, honestly. But at the same time, you're looking at, like, you got to think about the budget, the suits, everything else. Now that I'm older, right? But I feel like they tried to update that for the sequel. They tried to give us more. But yeah, they did tone down the.
Because I didn't know this at the time, but apparently parents and parent groups are complaining about the movie being too violent with all the weapons. So in the sequels, they didn't use their weapons at all. Period. They caved into pressure. Which I'm like,
I mean, that would make sense. I mean, because it was a fast turnaround for the sequel. I mean, they didn't have the rights to Bebop and Rocksteady, so they couldn't do that. So that's why they weren't
in the movie.
Yeah, that's why they did Taco and Razor. Is because they didn't have the rights to Bebop and Rocksteady.
I was wondering because those characters, it's so obvious it should have been Bebop and Rocksteady. That's why I was shocked it wasn't them.
Oh, you want to talk about jarring? You want to talk about jarring to fans? Dude, like, imagine going to see TMNT, The Secret of the Ooze, after the year hype from the other movie being as good as it is. Going in there and, like, you're going like, oh my God, Bebop and Rocksteady, hell yeah, baby, here we go. And it's like, wait, what? What are those things? That was jarring. But I'll tell you this, though. It's like, it was jarring, but the fans, they didn't care. Like, they accepted it. They just accepted it. It was because the movie itself was still fun.
Because it's more Turtles. Yeah, it's more Turtles.
Yeah, and it's got the Go Ninja rap because Vanilla Ice was huge at the time, and let no one tell you any different. Like that was big. The Turtles rap was massive when coming off of that movie and stuff. And it was a lot more Turtles. You had then you get Super Shredder, and it's just like the underground base, the abandoned subway tunnel station was like really cool. Like there was just so much interesting stuff with the sequel that you still just felt like it was this is Turtles.
Now we have to address the elephant in the room, though. TMNT 3.
I haven't seen that movie in a very long time.
It's probably
it's
best
not
that you don't. Hold on to your childhood memories, whatever they were of it.
Well, I mean, yeah. I remember one time I was talking with a buddy of mine. Like when you're in film school, never watch your childhood favorites. That's all I'll say. Like I can't watch Batman '89 again.
Really?
I can't.
You
I
won't
can't.
rewatch it?
I can't watch it. I can't. All I see are its flaws. It's so weird.
That's crazy to me because, like, listen, like, I didn't watch that movie until, 2015, 2014. So, like, I didn't watch that movie until I was a teenager, basically. And I still loved it, flaws and all. I mean, I don't think it's a very flawed movie personally, but I'm sure if you pointed it out, I would, be like, yeah, that probably is.
It's mostly, you can tell that it's Tim Burton's, second movie, I think, second or third film. And they shot it super quick. I mean, they wrapped production.
You're talking about technical issues, production.
Technical,
issues.
There's that, and there's some stuff you're watching where it's okay, this shot didn't need to be here. Okay, why did that happen? Little things like that. But that's the whole thing is you can't watch these movies while you're actively learning about how movies are made, because that's where your mind is, and so all you see is what's flawed. It's why one of the reasons why I still try to find the good in a movie no matter what, right? I'm let's find the good. I don't want to focus on the bad. Even though I tore Cocaine Bear to shit, but that was largely scripting issues.
I've still not seen Cocaine Bear yet.
It's on VOD next week. There, just wait. It'll be on VOD next week.
What studio released it?
Universal.
So it'll probably be on Peacock.
Very soon, yeah.
I'll probably wait for Peacock then, to be honest.
What is it? I think Violent Night is on there, and even Puss in Boots just came to Peacock. So give it a few months.
I know Megan, the unrated cut's on Peacock now. So
I do need to see that. I still need to see that one. But because again, if they were to take actually bringing up Megan's a good point. If they were to take the animatronics used for Megan and apply that to an extent to the Turtles, at least in regards to how they did the facial stuff, right?
Yeah,
that could be interesting. I would like to see a live action Turtles movie with actual people in suits.
Well, I was going to ask you about that because we have the new animated movie coming out, which I'm very much looking forward to, and that's going to probably be pretty good. I think it'll be good. But, eventually they're going to want to do another live-action movie. So for you say bring back animatronic costumes and suits.
Yeah, go practical, man. Go as practical as humanly possible. Because that's what, the thing with the Turtles is that the Turtle, and this is going to sound so effing ridiculous to say out loud, but I stand by it, is the Turtles feels very grounded in reality, right? It's a very grounded concept.
Yeah, the whole movie, this movie oozes New York. It feels grimy. It feels like a real place. Because you compare it to, for example, we talked about this movie before, Batman '89 from the year prior. Gotham City feels like a very gothic, it doesn't feel like a real city. It feels like a comic book city. But New York City in this movie feels real.
Yeah, because I think they didn't even shoot it on location. They shot it. God, I forget where they shot it, but they shot it. Wasn't New York, but they made it look like New York. It's even Gotham in the old Batman movie. That was Glasgow, right? So that's when they shot the Flash shot in Glasgow, Batgirl shot in Glasgow, and you're cool. They're going back to their roots and stuff. I think they can, they can find a way to kind of, make it look like New York, or hell, film it. What was it? Ghostbusters 2016. Or I'll just use that as an example. And I'm not attacking the movie over this point, but do you so they set that in New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
They only shot the exterior of the old firehouse. Other than that, everything they filmed was in Boston. And
In
Boston
Times
doesn't.
Square?
Yeah, that was all a set. That was
Oh,
all a
wow.
set. Like they shot it. They shot it in Boston, and Boston does not feel like New York.
To me, because I'm not trying to kick a dead horse while it's already down, but like when it comes to Ghostbusters 2016, its use of New York City doesn't feel like New York City because it feels too clean. It feels too
Yeah.
clean and like it's gone through a filter, you know?
And that's Boston for you.
Yeah. But it's funny you mentioned New York City. I just got back from seeing Scream 6, and that's a movie I feel like really does use its location very well to where it does feel like New York City, you know? So it's kind of interesting where we kind of compare the uses of location.
Was that any good?
Oh, yeah, it's great. It's great. I really enjoyed it. It's, again, I don't think any Scream movies top the original per se, but, like, it's good. It's really good. I mean... It's very brutal, though. I mean, it's got some of the craziest kills.
Have a good night. Yeah, it's what I keep hearing about is that's got a lot of kills.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's the violence in the movie, I feel like, because, you know, well, I don't want to get into a whole Scream thing, but you know, like, Scream 6 and, Scream 3 and Scream 2 kind of cut back on violence, like, just slightly. Mostly Scream 3. Like... It's like night and day comparison to Scream 6. It's like Scream 6, some of the stuff they do, and like in regards to like the way they kill people, it's just like, God damn. Okay. You know?
I need to. I mean, I haven't seen a Scream movie since the midnight showing of 4 back in 2011.
Yeah.
So I mean, I gotta rewatch it.
Yes, we just completely skipped Scream 5 then.
Well, it just came out at a time when I just couldn't get to the theaters.
Yeah.
So, like, that's really what happened with it. And I just picked up a copy of it the other night. But what happens, and this has just been a very big annoyance, but I can't really be upset, is my 5-year-old has been having, you know, she's like, she really wants, like, attention. And she's, like, having some bad dreams. So she's like, hey, can I come lay with you? And I'm like, fine. You know, and she's like, oh, do you want to watch a movie? And I'm like, well, I wanted to watch a movie, but you can't watch that movie. Okay.
Right,
you want to like, I'm like, you have bad dreams. I can't show you freaking Scream 5, or even like I'm trying to catch up on The Last of Us, which I, you know, probably could get away with or whatever. But, you know, like it was funny when I was watching the Halloween trilogy when Ends was getting ready to come out. She was having the same problem, but I watched it in my office, and I have a little pull-out bed in my office, and I put her on that, and I had my headphones on, and she's like, "Can I come see what you're watching?" No, you cannot.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
So it's just
case where it's just like you just don't have any me time. You know.
It's just and so I just ended up playing like the Hitman video game because like it's, you know, it's not as violent as other things that I could be watching, I guess. But I mean, yeah. So, you know, what's funny though is like, I showed her the trailer for the new Turtles movie, and she wants to see it, and I'm, you know, because when that comes out, she'll still be 5, you know, and so it's like it kind of means a lot to me as a dad, where I can then go, look, I was 5 when I had my first introduction to Ninja Turtles, and you know, like last summer, for example. While my girlfriend was out of town, I was watching the kids for like a week, and you know, they couldn't sleep one night, so we were just looking on YouTube and came across these like 1980s cartoon theme songs, and of course the main one is Turtles. But like both my kids loved it. They completely loved the Ninja Turtles theme song, you know, and they were like singing along with it for a couple days. So it's like the show, I think, or the concept of it, I think, is transgenerational. I think anyone can really get into it.
Yeah. TMNT is one of those properties like it's cross-generational, and I feel like every generation gets their own, which is really cool to see. But it doesn't. I mean, it never feels like other generations get left behind because there's always that core love for the Turtles. You just move on to the next one. Some you may like better than others, but like you still, at the end of the day, love the characters and what they represent. You know.
Well, yeah. I mean, even in my biggest problem with the 07 movie was that I felt that the final act got a little bit weird. You know,
It's
and
a very weird movie because they're fighting mutants from other dimensions, like these stone men
yeah,
and
and
Patrick
you're like,
Stewart. Like it's
yeah,
a very weird movie.
it is, and you're like, okay, if you're gonna go multi-dimensional with the turtles, you go one direction only. You give us Krang, and then you give us like the kids from Dimension X, right? Because like those kids are like that was a big part of the show.
I know,
You
and
know,
isn't it crazy that in every single like it took until Michael Bay's version for us to finally get Krang, and it was
and the version,
it's
it was not.
okay.
I just watched it recently for the first time, and I will fully admit, like it. I
It's
think it
not great.
embodied the zany. It's not great. I think the 2014 movie was better.
Yeah,
But
I would agree.
that being said, I feel that the Out of the Shadows felt more like a live action adaptation of the cartoon.
Yes, I
And,
think
and
compared to the 2014 movie, it was trying to be more like the 80s cartoon, but it still doesn't work because I don't think it commits all the way. And there's just some really stupid, like the way they handle Casey Jones was disgraceful in that movie. Oh my God, Casey Jones sucks so hard in that movie.
oh,
And
that he was a cop.
yeah, and I love Stephen Amell, but the way they handled his characters is like no.
But outside of his origin, he was fine as Casey Jones.
He was fine, but like his story sucked. Like it's like what were
Yeah.
they doing?
Well, what about April O'Neil being the one to rescue the turtles? Like, I mean,
Oh, when she was a kid.
Yeah, like
They've done that before in other versions where it's like she met them when she was a kid. They've done that before. I never like it because it's like that whole like. Have you heard about like how in some iterations of Spider-Man, like in the comics, they say, "Oh, Peter Parker, you were always destined to be bitten by this." I hate that destiny thing because it like removes all of the nuance from a character's story because it's always like, "Oh, this is always meant to happen." You know, it's just like, why can't things just like be happy accidents? You know, why it's always got to be like some kind of destiny thing where we were destined to meet April and the Turtles. You know,
it's because destiny plays a big part in storytelling, right? In storytelling, things have to matter. So having things be coincidental is a tough sell. Like, did you hear the Jenna Ortega clip the other day floating around about her complaining about the love triangle in Wednesday?
I have. I was watching Hot Mics and they were talking about it, and it was very interesting because they basically were like, "Oh, Jenna Ortega, she's kind of becoming a diva. She's becoming very unprofessional. I hope she learns from this because this isn't a good
Oh,
look for her." And I'm
never,
like,
never mind. She just got promoted to executive producer on season 2.
well, I think I could be wrong, but I could have sworn they said that was just a way to appease her. I'm just like, what?
They don't toss out. I mean, okay, maybe they. I don't look. The guys behind the show. Like the thing is, it's like it's. I think
I
on
like the
that
show, by the
subject.
way. I like the show. I'm not.
No,
I'm not trying to talk
oh
about the
no,
show.
no, I enjoyed it, but she's right. There were things where you're like, this kind of feels out of character, but I
Because they're
personally took
pushing for
those moments.
yeah, I think they were pushing for certain things that made it a little too CWE, which I
True.
understand because they come from Smallville. They wanted to add that element of soap opera,
Well, you have to. You have
but
to. It's like even like one of my favorite shows is Downton Abbey, right?
mhm.
I love Downton Abbey. Season 2 of that show is so soap opera. It's like the worst season, but it's literally just everything on that show is like that's such a soap opera. But at the same time, you have to have those compelling moments for characters for the audience to connect with those characters, and that's where going to back to Turtles on this new iteration of April O'Neil. They're going to have to sell that in a way that's going to be. I'm very curious to see how the marketing is gonna sell that version of April, or if she's even going to be in the movie for very long. Because
Yeah, I'm curious too because it seems like this Mutant Mayhem movie is like a origin story. So is April even a
yeah,
reporter? Maybe she's
well,
not a reporter yet. You know?
she's not a reporter, but she's probably a reporter for her high school. She's probably also a
Or
teen
she
in this
writes
one.
her own blog or something.
Well, yeah, because when she's interviewing them, she's got a pad and paper out, right? So like pen and paper. So she's taking notes about what she's seen. So clearly there's going to be an interview process, and clearly she's going to be writing for either her blog or for her school or something. The fact that they gave her a pen and a paper versus just like a phone, like recording into it or typing on her phone, because they showed Donnie with the phone, right,
Yeah.
when they're doing the little montage and whatever. So clearly they are in a space where there is going to be technology is going to be there, current technology. But I'm curious how they're going to be able to tie that in. And then you have to look at it from the perspective of like, will young audiences be drawn to that in a way that's going to be compelling? And it's kind of like, okay, so you got to look at it also like outside of just being April O'Neil, look at the fact that it's from the same director as Mitchell versus the Machines.
Right.
Which
Very good
is
movie.
kind of a very good movie, but on first watch, it's a little hard to get into.
It can be. I know some people who say it's a little hard to get into because like it's very. I don't know what the word for it is. I'm not sure what to describe it as, but like
it's kitschy is how I would describe it. It's very kitschy. Like it's, for example, the thing that takes me the most out of that is when it starts trying to interject memes. You know, like, oh, my dad looks like a gibbon monkey. You know, and like, what did you just not get the rights to the Taylor Swift goat song or whatever? It's like,
oh,
you
like
know,
the way they use jump cuts to certain things, where it's like the references.
Yeah,
things. Yeah.
That got to be a little bit much after a while. But then you got to understand, like, I've seen Mitchell vs. the Machines now, like,
but the
I can't
movie
even
at
tell
its
you.
core,
But
though, the core of that movie, though, it has a really good story and like really
absolutely,
stuff and
absolutely,
really good like character development. So.
Oh yeah, no, very, very true. I mean, even though like the final act of that movie makes them all superheroes, which is just kind of like, okay,
It's
but
fun. It's
I
fun.
get
It's a little silly, but it's
yeah,
fun.
yeah. I still love that whole line about deregulate tapioca. You know, like that part cracks me
I
up.
mean, dude, they make a big deal out of like this little wooden moose, and like you realize what the dad's backstory is, and like all the things he gave up for his family.
Yeah.
It's just like wow.
Well, that's the thing with Phil Lord and Chris Miller. And they're not involved in this specific project, but they always touch upon father-son's relationships. I mean, you know, look at Across the Spider-Verse, you know,
Cloudy with
and
Fancy
everything.
Meatballs.
Yeah. Oh, I love Cloudy. Cloudy is probably one of my all-time favorite animated movies. So it's like, you know, there's a lot you can do with the animation. And I think I forget the name of the director of Jeff. Who did fucking Puss in Boots? It was Jeff something, right?
Let me look. Puss in Boots.
Because it was like Jeff Lowe or something.
Joel Crawford.
Joel Crawford. Okay, so it's close. It's close. Okay, so Jeff Rowe coming into this one, you know, it's like, so this is produced by Seth Rogen, which means that, like, you know, Rogen is going to oversee the script. He's going to oversee a lot of that kind of stuff. But what's funny is, you know, everyone's upset about April O'Neil, but no one seems to be giving a shit about the fact that Bebop, who's been traditionally known as a black man, voiced by a black
Seth
actor,
Rogen.
is voiced by Seth Rogen.
It was a white guy.
Yeah, right? And so you're like, okay.
Well,
and
again,
also Seth Rogen.
That's what I'm saying. It's very hypocritical.
It is. And also Seth Rogen is you know, he's sorry, I it's got an order, but Seth Rogen is also, you know, playing a monkey in Super Mario Brothers, which some could view as racist.
Well, it's on like Donkey Kong, man. Okay.
All I know is I think Mutant Mayhem is going to do well. I think it's I'm excited to see it, like good, bad, or the other. I'm excited to see what this movie is.
Yeah.
Because I've always loved Turtles. You know, in the lead up to it coming out, I'll check out everyone keeps telling me the 2012 version is the best one.
Oh, the 2012 CG cartoon.
Yeah, but or you know, maybe I'll watch the Rise of the Mutants or whatever it is. or Rise of the TMNT, whatever one that Netflix had a
I
movie
have
for.
not seen Rise of the TMNT. The show is on Paramount Plus. The movie that wraps up the storyline is on Netflix.
Well, it's funny how, look at Rocco's Modern Life and Invader Zim, and those movies are on Netflix, but the shows are on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, it's so weird. Eventually, I think those rights to those movies will go back to Netflix, or sorry, go back
Most
to
likely.
Paramount. Just not
Most
right
likely.
now. Although
Yeah.
I don't know, because I don't know if Netflix paid for the production of it. They might have, and then they'd own it forever, probably. I don't know how that would work though.
Well, I mean, then again, they also co-paid for the production of the Daredevil stuff, and that ended up leading. But I think Disney paid a premium to get those off there. To be fair,
Yeah.
because
Also
those are
joining us
doing
is,
pretty well.
I guess Caden's here. Hello.
Hello.
Have you even seen this movie?
Really?
I mean, you're kind of young. I mean, I don't know. Have you seen it?
Yes. I've seen this movie probably like 7 times.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Sure.
What, dude? That's rookie numbers.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it like 8 times.
Oh, one more than me. Put that one more. I'm
Bitch,
sure
I had that shit on VHS.
We had it on VHS too before.
Yeah,
VHS
with the
got
did you have it with the green lid?
Yes.
Did you have the green? Okay, all right, fine, whatever. Fuck you.
But just to circle back, Matt, to what you're talking about when it comes to Jenna Ortega and unprofessionalism, like, just to finish that thought, is it more so like it's important to maintain like the emotional integrity of characters? Is that kind of your thing, or like?
I think that what people need to realize is that, like, when it comes to these stories, right, we have expectations. We do. And I know people out there get upset about what they call maybe the paint by numbers approach to filmmaking or storytelling these days. It is very conventional, but there's still certain things that you have to do to keep the audience interested. Having a love triangle, I mean, is kind of eye rolling in regards to Wednesday, but at the same time,
yeah.
But it is soap opera. But she also, if you look at the core concept, just the core aspect of who Wednesday is, she hides her emotions, but she has emotions. In fact, she's one of the most, if you really pay attention, she is one of the most emotionally driven characters on that show. But it's it's within the nuance of Jenna Ortega's performance where you get to see that emotion. And that's what I really like about it, was where it's like she has an affinity towards Edith, or Edie, whatever her name is. And that they should be
they're gonna be gay and hook up in the next season.
God, I fucking hope not. It's not that I'm against it.
To be fair, Jenna seemed to imply they want to cut romance completely out of the characters. So maybe not.
I think, yeah.
But the fans are really pushing for it. Like, they're really pushing for it.
I think people are also kind of over exaggerating what she said. It seemed like what was happening with what was going on is that, like, previously, like before, probably notes of like on the set and everything, was that there was this over dramatization of romance with Wednesday and these two Percy and Tyler's characters, like those characters, and now, like, with her notes and Tim Burton's notes, it was downgraded to a point where it seemed like one of the lesser known subplots that, as we saw, that Wednesday kind of threw out the window when when she got the phone. It's like, oh, I don't care about you, like, in that way, but thank you.
I mean, to be fair, like, I think in general it's a smarter idea for Wednesday season 2. Focus on the horror, focus on more mysteries. Don't worry about silly love triangle stuff. It's not people are watching the show.
Right.
Well, the love triangle is not for, you have to, again, who is the love triangle for?
Love triangle is also done now because, spoiler alert for Wednesday, one of the boyfriends is evil. So,
well, in real life, one of them is evil too. So, like,
well, yeah, I don't even know that Percy actor's even going to come back. So,
yeah,
we'll see.
So it's like,
so maybe they will have to hook up.
Well,
that's what I was going to say. Like, maybe they do need to hook up Wednesday with Enid because there's
ironic.
no one else to hook her up with.
It's pretty ironic on that part. It's like,
Yeah.
oops.
So Jarbo, sorry, but they might have to hook her up with Enid because there's literally nobody else now.
That's you know what? You know what? That's fine.
Jarbo's just like, whatever. Make
Yeah.
Wednesday gay. I don't care.
No, I'm picking up an order, so I'm just like doing that.
Yeah, no, I get you.
I mean,
Or maybe
Try not
Wednesday
to
will
get-
come out as asexual.
I,
Has some arrow ace representation.
you know what? Definitely. But I also
why not?
wonder. That's why I'm like, Jenna Ortega is gonna be super busy this year and the beginning of next year.
I don't know how she's gonna sleep.
She'll have a
It's
month
just like
break
it's like pretty
between
much every
everything.
day. It's like pretty much every day she's gonna be filming something.
Right.
Yeah, well,
Like,
she's
Beetlejuice
20.
2, bap. And then Scream 7, bap. Then Wednesday season 2. What's next?
Beetlejuice 2, all those A24 movies and all that.
Well, if she does any more of those.
Yeah.
I mean, she was really good in X.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, she was. She
I-
was.
I'm still a little bummed that X did not get more love at the Academy. I thought it was one of the better movies I saw this year.
Hold on, real quick. Captain Bagans, I'm not saying Wednesday has to be gay. I was making a joke. I'm not saying like a minor needs to come out as gay. It's not what I'm implying. I was making a joke. Like
Groomer.
yeah, I know, right? It's like people need to calm the hell down.
No,
like,
the thing is that okay, look, let's be fair. Like the whole like make Wednesday gay thing is a Tumblr thing. All right, like it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. They're not going to.
well, Netflix doesn't like the gays, so
Netflix love. What are you talking about? They love the gays.
they say they love
if
the
they don't
gays, but they have a history
They don't.
of canceling
They don't
gay
like the
positive
trans.
shows.
They don't like the trans. There's a difference.
That's a difference.
They're okay with the gays.
Yeah, Captain Bagans,
Well-
I'm not trying to
Well,
say anything weird, I
Heartstopper, they
promise.
have that one character who is, but then again, it's like she barely gets any attention in that show. She's
So my girlfriend just texted me. She just goes, I really want to watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I want to binge it.
Oh,
I'm like-
no.
I'm like,
You can't
That's
binge
all-
that.
Tell her,
like-
tell her we'll make it long and hard and watch the extended.
We'll watch the
editions.
extended cut. Dude, the last time she saw a Lord of the Rings movie was literally 10 years ago when we saw The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey in theaters on opening day. She didn't even see The Desolation or Battle of the Five Armies.
Really?
So
That's-
yeah. Well, because at the time we she had left town. She just didn't want to see. It came out of winter. It was cold. She didn't want to go see it at the drive-in. So whatever. But like, yeah. I got them. I got the 4K sets of both of them. I'm like, I just got to pull out my 4K player and everything. But I told her, I'm like, they're on Amazon. Have fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna
Sorry.
start winding this down because
I got a-
Dream 6 review with Caden. But Matt,
Sure.
your final thoughts on the TMNT 1990 movie and
Uh,
what
it's a-
you love about it the most.
Okay, so for me, I've always just loved the Turtles. The concept is great. The theme song is great. The characters I always love. Been a big fan my entire life. Like I just really enjoy it. The movie came out when I was 8 years old, like literally right when I turned 8 years old, and that's just like a pivotal point in a kid's life is when you see something come out like that you love, and then to get a great movie, and the next year to get a good follow-up movie, even right. It's just a lot of fun. The franchise is always endeared to me because of the core concepts of what it is and the zaniness of it, as well as the fact that they treat it like it's all normal, which I like. This new movie, I think, is going to be a good one for the younger generation. And I hope that it doesn't get drug into the culture war to the point of where it just becomes like exhausting, because Turtles should not be exhausting. Literally, it's 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with samurai weapons who beat the shit out of the Foot Clan and other weird creatures from different dimensions. Like, this is not culture war shit. This is just, it's a fucking fantasy, but it's a good fantasy.
Yeah.
It's Batman if the bat was a turtle. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna be live in like an hour and some change. If you guys want to jump on, I just got to go out to this area that's got like no cell reception, so I got to dip out anyway.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. I'll be recording in a little bit, and then yeah, I could definitely hop on.
All right. Well, hey, yeah, thanks everybody. I love, you know me. I love talking this stuff. It's always a good time talking to you guys.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I'll see you all
Real
on the
quick,
flip
Matt,
side.
before you go,
Yeah.
don't forget tomorrow the launch of Matinee
Right.
Madness.
Matinee Madness. Let me do a promo. Let me cut a promo real quick for Matinee Madness.
Yes,
Okay.
go ahead with the image above.
All right. Yeah. The image above. If you're ready for nonstop exciting Matinee Madness conversation, there is no E here. There is no bitch E people here. It's just solid hardcore movie talk about what you need to see in theaters that day. All right. No one's going to be oversleeping their time to start. No one's going to be a half hour late. There's not going to be any threats. There's not going to be any bad intentions. It's just movie talk.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
I'm literally I'm bouncing around a parking lot right now, like literally jumping up and down, not even on camera.
We're
Here, I'll go on
taking the
camera.
E out of
Yeah. Movie
Watching him like do this, and they're like, "What the heck is this man doing?"
That's actually
putting the madness
remarkably
back in the
true.
This white man is jumping around.
What is that guy doing over there? Is he on the crack cocaine? No, I'm an Uber driver that's trying to not kill myself. How about that? How about that? Right. Anyway.
Hey, what's up, Chris?
So
wow. All right. I don't think we're gonna be able to top that, folks. I think we're just gonna end broadcast now. But yeah.
all right.
Make sure.
All right. So yeah, I'll be on in an hour. I just got to go drop the shit off.
Yeah, no problem.
I'll see you guys.
All right, see ya. TMNT Retro Review. Hope you enjoyed this. Thank you to Caden and Matt for popping on. Great little movie. Will be fun. Scream 6 spoiler review will probably either go up late tonight or tomorrow morning. Haven't decided yet. We'll see. And Matinee Madness begins tomorrow afternoon. Thank you to my guests for this evening, and we'll see you guys next time.